Hey, how's everybody doing? It's me, Tato the Penguin, and as usual, the moth of transformation, the crescent moon of things, the disco ball of dance. Let's go, bro. Oh my goodness. Well, my last video was me earlier this morning crying. I'm so happy that I don't have to watch these back because that's just not it, fam. I don't want to rewatch a video where I'm in tears. I mean, I'll probably end up rewatching it at some point. I have a feeling in a minute and 11 seconds as I say this on my timer, but I feel like at some point when I start doubting, or like I'm having another situation in the future where I have more things, but I'm like, what's going on? And then I'm gonna be moved to come back here, and it's gonna be like, my spirit's gonna be like, click on that one, I'm gonna click on it, and then I'm gonna see myself at the beginning of that video and be like, okay, so forgot I was crying, but whatever. How is everybody? I hope everybody's good. Since the crying, it's been a good day. I went to a friend's and I got to hang out with the girls again, and it made me so happy, and I absolutely was just living for all the chaotic energy, where one moment we're talking about stuff that's incredibly deep, we're talking about our history and our trauma and everything, and then the next minute we're all singing along with Rihanna in the car, and I was like, this is the fucking shit, like this is what I wanted. So I thoroughly enjoyed myself today. Let's see, what else happened today? I thought on the cards that I drew earlier. I thought on the self-sabotage, grief, celestial alignment, and the fourth one was liberation. And I thought on those cards today, and it's interesting because I had like a couple of thoughts that came through, but because I recognized them this morning, it wasn't even that big of a deal. I was like, wow, shut the fuck up, because that's not true. Like, it's not true. And I am kind of at the point where I'm like very like, shut the fuck up. Like, I don't play with it. I feel like when it comes to your self-doubt, I feel like you have to see that as not a part of your identity, and you have to be aggressive with it. Because if you're not, the self-doubt has a way of being weird and like just coming through on some lies about yourself. It's like, nobody likes you. So that's not true. Like, usually there are people who do like us, even if we don't know them. And a lot of people forget that you've walked outside and other people have seen you. Like you, who is watching this right now, you have no idea if somebody saw you and was gonna come say something and then didn't because they're like, ugh, I'm intimidated, or they were like, nope, like, I have a fear of rejection, I don't want this person to reject me. And so many of you might be like, what? But I'm a nice person. They don't know that. They don't know that. Think about it. You think about walking up to any person in the store and giving them a compliment because you think they're attractive, or you want to say something to them, or when you want to start a conversation. Most of us know that the reason we don't do those things is because of fear of rejection. It's like, no, I don't want this person to respond negatively to me coming and trying to show joy, because, you know, we've witnessed assholes be assholes. So that's something to keep in mind. Let's see. What else? I was gonna talk about, I was thinking about, I was talking to my sister earlier today, and I said it's so interesting that so much of the media that we consumed growing up, some of it was stuff that like made us really uncomfortable, but we wanted to watch it. So for me, any claymation thing that Tim Burton has done has weirded me out. And even Coraline weirded me out. I love the stories. I love how deliciously creepy they are, but the claymation just makes that nightmare fuel. What's another one? Beetlejuice. We were talking about that too, where Beetlejuice has characters in it that like they kind of make your stomach churn a little bit, and you're like, but this is funny and entertaining. I want to keep watching. Something I quote, a line that I quote for Beetlejuice all the time is when he's talking to the couple. I forget their names. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but he's talking to the couple and he's in the model and he's like, hey, like it's okay, like no, here, no, why don't you guys come in? Like, and he's trying to convince them, and you know the mom, she's like Beetlejuice, 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 and they go back and he's like, yeah, you know, just I'll be right back. Hey, or no, he says I'll be right back, and then he's like, I hope you like Italian. It's not even that funny. But there's something about that. There's something about him like, why don't you guys come in? Hope you like Italian. Like, he was like, I'm prepping dinner. It's just really funny. Oh gosh. So, yeah, we were talking about that earlier today. And it's so interesting hanging out with people who have gone to film school and people who are in film school, because that's the majority of the people that I hang out with now are people who are working in entertainment in some capacity. And it's just really cool to hear people talk about the movies and like the albums that made them want to attend a university that specifically deals with entertainment aspects. And it's just so weird how people are like, oh yeah, my like inspirational movie was what did somebody say? It was a kids movie from a long time ago. And now I can't remember what it was, because the thoughts don't stay. My thoughts, they literally are like little people, and they just go off and they do their own thing. But yeah, it's really interesting. What else? What do I have? I have love. I wish I had an editor that could edit a tiny heart in there. Imagine there's a tiny heart in there. It's for you. I have to say thank you to the people who are watching these videos, and I'm surprised at how it's already begun to affect people's lives. There are people who, like, you know, I'm one of these people where I'll be following a channel for so long, I'd never subscribe, never liked a video, never commented. It's kind of like I'd be following in the shadows, and there are some people who are doing that, where they're like, yeah, you know, I don't want to change up, you know, all of the stuff on my algorithm or whatever, but, you know, like, I'll watch your stuff. So, it's really interesting. I'm very happy that the videos that I'm doing are bringing some type of safe space or entertainment of some capacity, or the advice, or the things that I say, the advice that I give. That's interesting. I saw 8:08 on the timer, and then I saw 8:18 on the timer. So, maybe that means somebody who's watching this, you are a safe space for somebody else. Maybe you've been doing the work on yourself, or maybe you're beginning the work on yourself, and there are people who see you as a safe space, and I think those people may find you. I started to find that when I started to really start working through a lot of my toxic beliefs and my limiting beliefs. I found that there were people who they would just talk to me. They would just come and they would talk to me. And I've met a couple of people who were like, I don't know what it is about me, but people will come up to me and they'll share some of the most crazy out-of-pocket stuff with me, you know, where I'm always there and experiencing things with people, and I don't know what that's about. It's because you have a light that shines really bright. That's all. It doesn't have to be anything more complicated than that. You have a light that people are attracted to. Ooh, come through puns. Well, not puns, but it's like, you know, it's a moth to the flame, if you will. Ooh, now's a good time for some water. If you haven't had water today, you already know the drill. Get some water. Lubricate your vocal cords. So good. But yeah, you are probably a safe space for somebody else. And as you're working on things, something that I have found when I've spoken to people who they really start focusing on being a more healed version of themselves, I find that those people actually have more people talk to them. More people are coming out of the woodwork. So for me, when I really started standing in a place where I was really working with my divine feminine, growing up as an oldest of 4 kids, I was made responsible at a very early age for my siblings, for their success. If they didn't do well, I was looked at. It was like, what's going on with you? And I was like, I don't want that. It was like, you can't choose your positioning. But as an oldest, where was I going with this? I said safe space. I was talking about being the oldest. We had some water. The thought escapes. Something about... Dang. That's unfortunate. That might have been some good shit. That happens. I'll be on a run. I'll be like, passion, ideas, life. And people are frustrated because I'll like interrupt myself. I'll go on a tangent about something and then that's it. Do we ever come back? That's a good question. Divine feminine. There we go. Okay, so whoever's watching this is information for you because I remembered, because sometimes I don't. I was raised masculine. My father literally raised me to be like him. And I saw somebody had posted something on Instagram or something a while ago. It was probably a TikTok first, and then it came over to Instagram. And it said that oldest daughters tend to be treated like boys. Like, it doesn't matter what the gender of the oldest child is. Usually, if the father is involved, the father is going to make that oldest child like them. So regardless of gender, the oldest child is usually raised to be masculine in nature and to sit very divinely in their masculine. I don't know if that's true. I didn't see like an article cited or anything, but there's a little hair. Oh my gosh. Get out of my face. Stop. I don't know if that's true, but I definitely took on a lot of my father's ideals growing up. When it came to dating, I was very like stringent. I was very like, there's a right way. I mean, and the whole time I wanted to be loved. The whole time I wanted to start healing, but I was focusing on the idea of success. And so for a majority of my life and all of my relationships, I have been sitting in my divine masculine. So I'm very comfortable in that space. It's a space that I know very well. However, I recently, this year, funny enough, have been sitting in my divine feminine. And you don't have to be any specific gender to have divine feminine and divine masculine energy. Like, it's just there. It's in everybody. It's their energies. They're genderless. They're just energies that exude power in different ways and exude love in different ways, or show love in different ways. And so I've been sitting like in my divine feminine, and something that I've noticed while I've been here is that I am coming from a place of love. I'm coming from a place of holding space for other people. I'm very interested when I talk to people. And so something that's been happening is I'm getting a lot more people talking to me in general, which, as a person who spent a lot of my life not wanting to be perceived by people because it was stressful, that's new. I've had people like fall over themselves to open doors for me, and I'm like, I got it. I'm right here. I was opening the door, and they're like, no, I got it. So that's been very interesting. My dynamic with other human beings has changed a lot. I don't get as mad with other people as I used to. I can kind of see where everybody's coming from. It's been very different. But since starting my spiritual journey, I have become a person that a lot of people will just be around or talk to or want to sit next to or want to stand next to, start conversation, joking around with me. And this is likely to happen to you too. If you're in a space where you're feeling more at peace and you're feeling good, people want to be around that. And something that whoever's watching this is probably going to have to get really good at is you're going to have to get good at setting the boundary of when you don't want to deal with people, because when you're in this space where you're shining this super warm light and everybody who's been out in the cold is trying to get some of that warm light, You have to be confident enough in your boundary setting abilities. This is why setting boundaries is important. You have to be comfortable enough so that when those people come, you can still make sure you're taking care of yourself and you're not overextending. Because overextending is a bitch. Honestly, it is. I used to be tired all the time because I was constantly overextending. Nobody asked me to. 15 minutes and 15 seconds as I say that. So if you are the type of person to where you are overextending, I want you to keep this thing in mind. And it's something that my sister told me. Ace of J's. I want to make sure I give her credit for this. The sacrifice, some people believe that their personal sacrifice is greater and more important than the success of the group. And essentially what that means is there are a lot of people who they've built their identity on self-sacrificing. Self-sacrificing? Sacrificing. Fuck it. So there are some people who that is what they're about. Some of you, this might have been a grandmother. This might be a mother. This might be a father or a grandfather. This might be a neighbor or a coworker or a sibling. You know, the person who every time you turn around, they're complaining about the stuff that they do for everybody, but then as you go through, you get your glasses and you're like, hold up. But nobody asked you to go do this. In fact, people told you not to go, and you went anyways. So why are you complaining? And then they use that, well, I've sacrificed so much to be in the position where, you know, I've just done so much. And it's like, you should have been setting boundaries. There is a point where self-sacrifice is like admirable, where I believe it's an admirable thing. But if all day, every day you're self-sacrificing, you're just a doormat at this point. Like, you cannot let people walk on you like this. Because the truth of the matter is, nobody cares about your time. Nobody cares about your energy. Nobody cares about where your mind is at before you go to bed enough to be there for you 100% of the time. Like, nobody can do that. You have to do that for you. It's self-esteem. It's self-motivation. It's self-preservation. Self-preservation station. Self-preservation nation. You got to take care of yourself. You really do. And it's hard to say that to people because a lot of people are very much so on the opposite sides of the pendulum. So it's like, if you say take care of yourself, they're like, that's incredibly, that's selfish. I'm just going to be selfish. I'm in my villain era. You don't want to be there. You really don't want to be in your villain era because now you're thinking, I'm going to fuck up as many people as possible. And my belief is that the universe demands balance in all things. So if you're being a bitch, then you're gonna catch some bitch-like consequences. And you're gonna be like, the fuck? But you did that. So you can't really be mad. So, because the universe is all about balance, you don't want to be super selfish where you're like, fuck everybody, I'm in my villain era. And you don't want to be on the other side where you never let anybody do anything for you. You don't ask for anything. You're constantly giving. And that was 18 minutes and 18 seconds as I said that. So this is definitely for somebody. Giving until you are exhausted every day, not entirely healthy, bro. Especially if you're stressed. We know scientifically, stress is taking years off of people's lives out here, bro. Now, when I say guys, when I say bro, when I say gals, when I say girls, I'm referring to everybody. I don't care what your gender is. These are terms that I use to refer to anybody in the collective. To me, they have no gender. I walk up to my dad all the time and I'm like, what up, girl? Sometimes I'm like, hey, bitch. Like, and he's like, what's good? Like, And, so yeah. The giving until you're exhausted, reel that back in. Balance is so necessary. You want to make sure that every day you're doing something to stimulate your brain. Puzzles, word problems, poetry. You want to stimulate. And then the way that I'm doing. No, I don't like that. Pause. Back up. So you got to work on your mind. Do something to work on your mind. Give your mind a little exercise. You want to give your spirit some exercise, whether that be meditation, walking in nature, You want some like social interaction, whether that be online where you're talking to people through the Zoom or talking to people on the phone. Like honestly, if you can see people in person, it's better to do it that way because you're really getting that synchronistic energy. That's really what you want. But if you can't see people in person because, you know, you live far away or your situation is one where you can't really see people all the time, I would say try to get on the phone with people, try to do email with people. I email my grandmother, like once a week in order to keep up with her because of the life that she lives. Being on the phone all day is not ideal for her. So I try to keep up with her that way. I try to make sure, and I put reminders in my phone because my memory's not that great. Like, in order to have a community that you're actively a part of, sometimes you've got to go a little bit out of the way, not overextending, but a little bit out of the way, to set a reminder to say, hey, I need to reach out to my guy or my girl or my girls or my boys. You know, we are moving into 2025. So something that I would like to see die immediately is toxic masculinity. I would like to see that die immediately. I would like to see all of the things that are weighing on men and are fucking over women and fucking over men. I'd like to see those things die. Men should be crying. They really should be. Because everybody should be crying. Everybody should be experiencing the cathartic nature of tears. Did you know that tears, when you are in different moods, the tears that you cry, like the tears, the makeup of tears that you cry when you're sad versus tears that you cry when you're happy are two completely different things. I don't know what that means, but that's incredible. That's incredible. Tear up. You can get emotional. I like this. And for the women who do not like to see men show emotion, I think you need to ask yourself why. And if your first answer is, well, showing emotion is weakness, this is a problem because emotion is natural for human beings to have. You definitely want the men in your life to experience love for their kids. You want them to experience love for you, love for other people. So it's weird that I've heard women say, I don't think men should be crying because they're wusses. You're part of the problem. And if you are a person who doesn't believe that, and you hear people say that, I implore you to barrage them with questions. So what you're saying is, hit them with the questions. Hit them. 22 seconds, 22 minutes, and 22 seconds in my voice memo as I say that. So somebody who's had it with hearing their friends say that they don't want to see men cry because they're weak and because that's some bitch shit, I'm imploring you to ask them questions and to get down to the bottom of why you believe that, because odds are they picked it up from somebody else. Most of the women that I've asked in my life that have said that, when I ask them, they're like, well, you know, that's just kind of how my mom was. Like, that's what my mom said. Okay, and how did your mom grow up? What was the situation there? And I really do think that we need to go back to the roots of where a lot of these toxic beliefs come from, because what we find is they were spread by toxic people that didn't care about you or really anybody else. They were miserable people that wanted to see other people miserable. Now, there are some things that I agree with, and not everything that I disagree with is a bad thing. So there is that. So let me put that disclaimer out there. But yeah, I mean, I love seeing people who really get their emotions. The thing is that there are so many women who say that they want an emotionally mature man, but in order for a man to be, or a person to be emotionally mature, it takes experiencing your emotions and getting comfortable with them. I may have said this in another video, but you know, kids, like babies, you're supposed to let them have temper tantrums. Yeah, I think I did say this in another video. You're supposed to let kids, when they're little, have, like when they're having temper tantrums, be there with them. Don't give them everything that they want, obviously, but you let them self-soothe. Self-soothe. I cannot talk today. And the reason you do this is because it helps them build coping mechanisms so that when they're older and they get stressed or they get pressed or they're really sad or they're going through grief, they better know how to deal with that. But if you never experience your emotions, then you don't know what to do with them. I think that's why we're seeing so many people now, and it's not just men. It's a lot of people who, when they are met with serious emotions, they freak out and they don't know what to do with themselves. And it's because you're not experiencing them frequently. You spend your whole life pushing down sadness. You spend your whole life pushing down crying. Now, I'm not talking about the people who just can't cry, because those people exist. I'm talking about the people who they want to cry, and instead of finding a way to cry, to let that happen, allow your body to have that catharsis, they're pushing it down. And those emotions don't go away. They just sit down there and they fester. And then that's where some resentment comes from. So I'm a big fan of just deleting all of that, because the happiest, like, I have very stand-up guys in my life. Cousins, my brother. I love my brother. I think my brother's a stand-up guy. Love him. Childhood friends that I grew up with. Like, the types of people that when you're like, hey, could you watch my drink? You know that not only would they watch your drink, but they will actively, like, hey, like, chase down people, you know? Like these are safe people to be around. And I have a good amount of those types of people in my life. And I don't know why I started talking about that. The thought ran away. There it goes. But yeah. So, like, those men are emotionally mature. And the reason being is because their moms, or not their moms, but, like, those men at some point were like, all right, so I need to figure out this whole emotion thing, and started experiencing their own emotions. And I think human beings are supposed to experience them. I do understand the paths that people take to detach themselves from emotion, and I'm sure that there is a valid experience there. I'm sure there are valid experiences there. It's just, for me, I love my emotions. I love it. I love to be in love. When I'm sad, I love that I can be sad with other people. I feel their sadness. I love that I can feel empathy. I love that I can feel, even jealousy, you know? I'm glad that I can feel that too, because those feelings all come from, there's something that you need. It's telling your body you need something. So it's like, if I'm ever feeling envious or jealous of somebody, I know to sit down with, like, a notebook, and I'll write out, okay, so what is it that I'm missing? Because jealousy really comes from, like, a place of lack. It's like you're feeling like you're not getting something, or your plate is not full. So what is that? And in some cases, it's very natural to be jealous. And then in other cases, the jealousy is incredibly unhealthy because a person hasn't really experienced their jealousy. So their jealousy kind of takes over. It's almost like an allergic reaction. Like, for those of you that don't know, really what allergies are, it's your body seeing an object or, like, a thing as an enemy to your body. And it goes into defense mode aggressively. Like, that's essentially what I was told by my allergist. Like, that's kind of the simplest version of explaining what an allergy is. And a lot of people kind of have allergies to emotion, where, because they haven't been experiencing it and they haven't been practicing with it, they haven't been practicing emotional intelligence, they kind of just freak out and they don't know what to do. And then you're looking at a 40-year-old toddler and you're like, oh no, what's happened? He doesn't know how to cope. Fuck. So I don't know. I feel like that bit was for somebody. If you're ever tempted to send my videos to people because I'm speaking to people and you're like, oh my gosh, this person needs to know, send it, Chef. Send it. I do that so often. I'll see a Instagram video or a YouTube reel or a YouTube video and I'm like, ooh, it's going to the weird chat with the name. It's going to the chat with 3 people with the name. I actually don't know what my weird chat. I don't think we have a name for that one, because that one's an SMS. You can do weird chat names on WhatsApp. I don't know if you can do them just on regular phones. I don't know. I've never looked at that. I don't know. But yeah. So stop overextending. We've got that. Really look and pay attention to how much you're giving and how much you're receiving, how tired you are, where's your body at, where's your heart at. Also, another tip, be aware of how you feel when you're around people. Our bodies usually tell us who we are safe with. There are some people who they've experienced trauma to the extent where they can't really trust their bodies in those cases. I'm not speaking on those people. To those people, I'm so sorry that you've gone through what you've gone through. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And with those people, if you've experienced that, you definitely need to get actual help. Like, you definitely want to do that. But for the people to where it's just like super regular. Dang, and that thought's gone. What? Wow. The thoughts are just dipping super heavy tonight, so we're just firing them out. So I hope you keep it up. Keep up. Keep up, Agent Rhodes. Keep up. That's that clip in Now You See Me when Morgan Freeman is trying to be all slick. It was so weird seeing Morgan Freeman as kind of the resident asshole and Now You See Me in the first one. First off, love that movie. I absolutely love how it was done. Woody Harrelson killed me. I was cackling the whole time. I was like, Woody Harrelson, you're hilarious, bro. It was really funny. Yes. So yeah, let's not overextend. Let's let everybody cry. Let's let everybody experience their emotions. I think it's important. He really saw me too, as if till now I would never leave. And all I've done before won't matter anymore. There are some church songs that just hit, bro. Like, I'm not there. I'm not there at this point in my life. But, bro, if I start hearing somebody sing Look Through Heaven's Eyes from the Prince of Egypt, bruh. Single thread in the tapestry, though its color brightly shines, will never see its purpose in the pattern of the grand design. Oh my god, when you're trying to sing and your nose is like, shut the fuck up, bro. Anyways, but yeah, those songs. What else do we have? Any tips and any fresh tips? I'm all about fresh tips. Hey. Through. I usually try to think of like little clever things, like things that I know how to do around the house. Like cleaning your window with Windex and newspaper, amazing. If you do it with newspaper, it's amazing. It's so much better for some reason than paper towels. It just is. But then who gets a newspaper, you know? So, yeah. I'm trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to talk about as far as like the vulnerability of what's going on with me. I don't think I have much right now. I really do think this morning's video was like, that was a serious one. And I think there are like little tips in this one too. But I have to pop up early to go get some things done tomorrow. So I am just barely holding on as it is. Do I have anything of relevance to say? Dun, 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 dun. Do I have anything? Somebody in this chat needs to practice patience. And it's probably everybody. Because I need to practice patience. Everybody needs to practice patience. You are constantly greeted with situations every day that give you an opportunity to work on patience. We are in a kind of society that it prides itself on the whole instant gratification thing, and it's caused a lot of people to lose the ability to be patient. And some of you watching this, you need to work on your patience, my love. I would say do things and then wait to have them. Like if you get something and usually you would open it in the car and you'd start eating it, you know, you go in and you buy a sandwich and you'd open it in the car and eat it, I'd say wait for a minute. Just wait. Wait a bit longer than you usually do. I tell you, when it comes to practicing little skills like that, like little self-betterment stuff like that, starting small is always what I recommend. I never recommend anybody quit or quit something cold turkey. Personally, unless like you know that that's a healthy thing to do, because if you have like something that you do all the time and it's kind of borderline like a behavior that's like really serious, I would say make sure you know what you're doing first. But I'd be quitting shit cold turkey because I'm like, hey yo, this has to stop now. I'm telling you, the stubbornness is crazy. I saw somebody in the comments that in my last video, they're like, I'm a Taurus. I was like, I know. I know. I don't think that the signs, like the zodiac signs, I personally don't think they're not things that are like, this is just what you are. I personally think that some of the things that some of the signs deal with are just opportunities for self-growth. Like, I think a lot of stuff is like that. It's like, well, here's like a thing that you are, that you struggle with, or, you know, a thing that you do. Why don't you consider a way to work on that? And again, some of you are not supposed to be doing any work right now. Some of you, like myself, are just supposed to be following your nudges and then not doing any work because you spent your entire life doing work. You know, you spent your entire life constantly working on yourself to better yourself. And while that is admirable, you've got to take breaks, my dear. You've got to sleep. You got to get some sleep. You got to eat some good food. You got to drink some good beverage. You know, some actual real orange juice, mango juice, cranberry juice, pineapple juice, and water. You know, the good stuff. But I think that's all I have for tonight. I had a good day, did well, had some conversations, just enjoyed today. Like right now, I can feel that this is the calm before like stuff that's gonna pop off. I don't know what's gonna happen. But if it's something I can share, I definitely will. I'll definitely be like, hey yo, some shit popped off, bro, and it was fucking wild. But I don't think I have anything like that right now. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you all very much. I think the last time I checked, I had like 770 something subscribers. So to those of you who are subscribed and you're watching the channel, thank you. And welcome to a safe space where you can come and spend time. I'm enjoying doing these videos. If you just got here, welcome. If you're considering unsubscribing and heading out, it was nice seeing you. I hope everything resonated. You know, good luck on the rest of your journey. Have a good time. I want nothing but the best for my people, even if they're no longer my people. But yeah, so that's what's going on. I hope you sleep well, or I hope you enjoy whatever you're doing and have a good rest of your day. And I'm gonna holla at y'all later. Bye. Now the awkward turning off thing.